Such a lust for revenge. Ooh!
The sins never die. Can't wash the blood off our hands. Let the world fill us all. It's just me to an end. Our salvation lies in the sins beyond the truth. These are bad
Volvemos, cabrón, Metal Gear P, Metal Gear P, Metal Gear de Phantom Pain. Volvemos.
Things have changed, boss. We pull in money, recruits, just to combat Cypher. Rubbing our noses in bloody battlefield dirt.
Yeah.
All for revenge. The world calls for wet work, and we answer. No greater good. No just cause. Cause. Cypher sent us to hell.
Yeah.
I know. I'm already a demon.
What? You haven't done shit. You haven't done shit, yo. Ver la buena, al menos te dejaron el brazo contrario para que pudieras caminar, weón.
That ends today. Now you're not sleeping, and we're not junkyard hounds. We're diamond dogs.
Duérmete, culiao. Es como ya, weón, duérmete.
Let them talk. We can crush Cypher, boss. And you can build the army that can do it. Just one thing, Kaz. This isn't about the past. We're fighting for the future.
Yeah. Esto fue todo lo que... Mira, durante todo el tiempo que mostraron, así como Metal Gear 5 y toda la cuestión, lo que yo siempre soñé con hacer fue pasearme por Motherverse jugando en la Play 3, weón. Porque para mí era como, wow, ¿cómo será? Bueno, es Play 3, o sea, sé que lo hicieron para Play 4 y toda la weá, ¿cachai? Entonces como, bro. Espérate, antes que cualquier weá. Under construction. Oye, under construction, corta la weá, pues. Boo, yeah. Yeah, Fulton.
Start bringing people in. Use this. It's a Fulton recovery device. When you're in the field,
Por fin, man.
extract any soldiers or prisoners you want back here. And we'll see if we can't persuade them to join the ranks of Diamond Dogs. Go on. Test it out on the staff here. Anyone you want. First, put them to sleep. You have a tranquilizer gun, don't you?
It's an honor, boss.
Ok, se nota que tú eres...
What's the matter, boss?
Talk. Where are your friends?
extract. That's one way of doing it. Now extract it.
Yeah, boy.
Good.
Extraction failed.
Nada, te voy a extraerlo ya.
Good.
Bye.
Extraction
complete.
arrived at
You
Mother
can only
Base.
bolt and recover someone if they're not resisting it. No dead bodies either. They don't make great recruits. The staff member you just extracted will be assigned to the team best suited to his abilities. See for yourself. Open your iDroid.
Okay.
Staff management from the mother big.
So that staff member was placed on the R&D team. The R&D team is in charge of developing all kinds of weapons and items that will support you on missions. Take a look at the development list.
Select weapons items under the development heading.
Yeah.
Please specify
That's the R&D
project.
team's development list. See the item called cardboard box?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem much use to me, but Miller was adamant that you'd want it on the list. The last word in infiltration technology, or so he said. In any case, we don't have the manpower to develop it just yet. We need more staff on the team. Go extract a few more people. Boss, put the iDroid away for a moment. You can also Fulton extract individuals you've knocked out. Why don't you try knocking someone out with CQC next? Show them how it's done, boss.
Aquí viene.
I'm ready, boss. Try throwing them. It's the best way to knock someone out instantly. Excellent, boss.
No me gusta
Now
esa wea. Me gusta más el tipo de CQC del Metal Gear 4. Donde tenía un dominio súper grande sobre el enemigo con quiera que esté agarrando.
Good.
Extraction
complete.
arrived at Mother
One thing I
Base.
should mention. The Fulton extraction won't always be successful.
Sí, pero no hay que tirarlo cuando haya tormenta de arena
Could kill them.
o cuando esté muy herido.
Favorable, well, it could end up going missing. You can determine the chance of success by approaching the person you want to extract. If you want to be sure you can get them out, best carry them to the chopper instead.
Yep.
All right. Extract the next staff member.
¿Ya quién viene? Ah, ya viene. Ah, agarra el que esté más cerca, porque el de allá también viene.
Extract it. Use any method you like. Start by knocking them out. If there are multiple adversaries nearby,
pull any
form
punches.
CQC on them in quick succession. This allows you to take them all out before any of them can strike back.
Yeah.
That's the boss item. Pretty good. Now extract them.
Extraction arrived at Mother
People on
Base.
the R&D team, its level has gone
Unit
up.
function
You should be
added.
able to develop the
Development
cardboard
project
box
has
now.
been
Open
added.
your iDroid.
Calma. Okay. No.
Select weapons items under the development.
Please
Now
specify
select
project.
cardboard box and start development.
Pero no quiero hacerla, bro.
Development required.
Development has finished.
Me pide que la...
Please select a
You can have
drop
the
point.
support unit supply you with weapons and items you've
Supplies
developed. Think of it
requested.
as your own personal
Supply
delivery.
drop complete.
No tiene sentido de que, weón, es que extraje aquí de la nada formen parte de la... ¿cómo se llama esto?
You call in a supply
Yeah.
drop, and there it is. Not sure what it's good for, but Miller said you know what to do. Try it out. One last thing. Staff members you extracted were all placed on the R&D team, but that was Miller's decision. If you think they belong somewhere else, you're free to move them around. Well, that's how it does it.
Mission
You won't
info
make any
has been
GMP or
updated.
find recruits hanging around here. Board the chopper when you're ready for a mission. Open your iDroid and select a landing zone and tell it where to pick you up. Or if you're still in the mood for knocking guys on their asses, you can stay around here a while. Give the men some practice. Just come pay me a visit.
Yeah. Ah, venían para acá para que haga una cuestión de A4. No me gusta eso. A ver. Sí, mi problema es esto. Que no sé cuáles son las cuestiones extras. Y estrictamente lo que hay que hacer ahora es decir al helicóptero que venga a buscarnos. Volvimos de la pausa de la palta. Ya no puedo hacer nada. Un helicóptero. Ah, no, pero no es necesario. Jajaja. Recuerdo, motherfucker. A ver. Ok. Cae, vos caja culia. A ver. Es que no sé específicamente cuáles eran las cuestiones extras que había que hacer. Escuchen.
Boss, let's practice your CQC. Begin by grabbing. That's enough. This isn't the time.
Yeah.
That won't work out. I've had drug resistance.
Oh no. Oh, aguante paso, weón. Nos vemos, cabros. Ve cómo te atravesaron, ¿no? Solo... Creo que en el momento que esta esté lista, ya podéis empezar a... Ah, no. No, primero tenéis que tener la primera FOB. Cuando tenéis la primera FOB... Ahí podéis.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base. Development project has been added.
Sí, esto no es de verdad. Yep. Sí, por el Fulton y la hueá que pedí. ¡Cajambo! Qué lata, aunque no me dejó volver a la cuestión. Y ahora me va a tirar al tiro al 3, po. Me va a tirar al tiro a la misión 3. Ah, no. Fuck you. Yeah.
Mission list updated.
Boss, I know you haven't been back long, but I prepared a list of missions for
Please
you.
select a mission.
I've taken the job offers Diamond Dogs has received and made a list of those I want you to consider. Which ones you accept is your call.
Vamos a desarrollar primero, cabrón.
Objectives of the missions I've added are prisoner rescue,
Please
facility service, and high-value target elimination. Probably all a walk in the park for you, but they should help you
Metal
get
Gear
back
4,
on your feet.
Metal Gear 3. O sea, no Metal Gear 4, Metal Gear 3, traje Sneaking, traje Naked. Eva.
We'll receive GMP for completing
Esta es
missions.
del Gran Zero.
Extracting
En realidad
soldiers
Space Walker,
mercenaries
pero
will
ya.
boost our ranks.
Granada de humo ayuda
First
harto.
step to achieving our goal. If that means sweat work, so be it. We're gonna have to get our hands dirty. I hope you're rested up, because we're not stopping. Not until the pain is gone. The future of Diamond Dogs is in your hands.
Yeah.
On you, boss.
Heading to Afghanistan.
Vamos a ir para acá y vamos. Oh, nice. Suena bastardo. Yeah. Ya. ¿Con qué vamos? Metal Gear 3. Yeah, boy. Ah, bueno, claro. Es imposible saber eso porque... Así que... Porque lo que hacía era que por lo general me iba de noche. Iba con la visión nocturna.
Prisoner at the Watson barracks. We need to find him and get him out. He tried to defect from the base camp up north.
Hay que sacar al viejito de bigote.
Holding him at Watson. He's offered his technical skills to us as long as we can guarantee his safety. You have to extract the target.
Obviamente vamos a irnos por los cassettes al toque.
Boss, your target just happens to be the man who developed your prosthetic hand. And he's the only one capable of
Ve.
maintaining it. If we bring him in, I'm sure he'll be able to modify it in all kinds of ways as well.
The map has been updated.
Osla, I hear they started calling you Shalashaska in Afghanistan. What's that about?
You know the term Sharashka? It's slang for a suspicious, hastily thrown together organization. The word became associated with a type of forced labor facility in the Soviet Gulag system. OKB scientists and engineers who'd been convicted of crimes were sent to a Sharashka for forced R&D. The Sharashkas were supervised by Lavrenti Beria of the NKVD,
Okay.
under the official name 4th Special Department.
Forced research? That's not very different from what we do here.
Diamond Dogs is different. Everyone here believes in you. Regardless of where they came from or why they're here, they revere you. And they're fighting because it was their choice.
And if it wasn't, they'd leave?
Who knows? That's our reality here, whether it's real or not. If there's another truth, I don't want to know it. All that matters is that's the concept that's taken shape in their heads. The traces of a group ideology, our superstructure, to put it in Marxist terms.
You fucking cunt.
Go on.
Right. So anyway, at some point the enemy started calling me Sharashka. This was after the war in Afghanistan broke out.
Ay,
While I was
cabrón.
keeping an eye on you in that hospital, I was also heading up interrogations here. The men I broke gave up their comrades and families, everything they wanted to protect them most. No real cause for it. I just let myself get caught up in the old Russian pride. And suddenly I received the honor of becoming Special Interrogation Advisor to the forced labor camps. But the more men I interrogated, the more people saw me.
Todavía estoy sin...
What we need is an interpreter.
It helped cover
The main principle of intelligence work is intel gathering. But that's a problem if you don't speak the enemy's language. We need a staff member with the interpreter skill to do a simultaneous interpretation.
Some would have seen me on the battlefield.
Vamos si lo puedo bajar.
I got the second half of the name. Shashka. It's a sword. A type of saber from the Caucasus.
Yeah.
Cossacks carry them into battle. Now the Russian Empire had a general by the name of Fyodor Arturovich Keller. His bravery earned him the nickname Russia's greatest Shashka.
Someone must have known about that.
Mm,
Shashka got stuck on the end of Sharashka. The guerrillas were using the name amongst themselves. And by the time I got to hearing about it, pronunciation had wound up as Shalashashka.
So half gulag, half hero sword. Is a perfect fit.
But you see how rumors...
pero qué raro se supone que eso le pite a la va.
Once you create a character and put it out there in public mind, it warps and twists with every baseless rumor. And before you know it, all people see are phantoms. In my case, it works out just fine. I'm plenty used to working under aliases.
Я не хочу умирать!
So Salt 2 still hasn't gone into effect.
That treaty was drawn up to limit not just the size...
Those materials have already been processed. It may not be much, but we can use them straight away if you bring them back to base.
When we thought all those years of negotiations had paid off, somebody decides to invade Afghanistan. The timing couldn't have been worse.
The president was in the middle of the Salt 2 talks back then.
You mean while you were busy trying to stop Peace Walker? I heard. President Ford was meeting with the General Secretary in Vladivostok. In his absence, the political brass in America detected what they didn't realize was false nuclear
Esto me lo voy a hallar porque los patrulladores me caen bien.
retaliatory nuclear strike.
Coleman's big idea? Humans are incapable of destroying themselves. Turns out he never knew what humans are capable of.
If that AI, the boss, hadn't found a way to stop the fake data transmission, they probably would have gone ahead with the launch.
Deterrence was revealed as the pipe dream it was.
All thanks to you. And her. The U.S.-Soviet talks... What happened in Nicaragua no doubt helped trigger a change of heart. But in the end...
The time's to find the politics. When you've grabbed their tail, they turn and bite your hand.
I first met you 20 years ago now. The place was Selenouyarsk in the Soviet Union. We were enemies. I was with the GRU. You were still fighting for America. 64. Operation Snake Eater. Its objective? The assassination of the legendary soldier known as the Boss. When you returned home successful, they awarded you the title Big Boss. Your CO, Zero, sought to carry on the boss's will by covertly establishing...
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
You knew the original members from Operation Snake Eater. From America, there was David O, whereas he was to you, Major Zero. Donald Anderson, a.k.a. Sigan. Dr. Clark, who went by paramedic during the operation.
That's the Waksin barracks. The target is somewhere inside that outpost. The Soviets consider him a traitor now, so he'll be treated like any other prisoner.
6 in total. To us, government notions of friend and foe were meaningless. As were East and West, we joined forces by our will alone. Our objective was to fulfill the boss's dying wish, to make the world one. And to do it, Zero used the Philosopher's Legacy, the secret war fund you obtained during Operation Snake Eater.
En realidad se supone que yo no lo obtuve, me lo dejó.
Cipher.
Me lo dejó, no.
Was left with the problem. You only recovered half of the legacy. I had to locate the other half myself. When I found the funds, I passed them on to Zero, just as you wanted.
I still trusted him in those days.
We thought what he was doing was the boss's will, until he started that one project.
Les enfants terribles, Zero called it.
You parted ways, as did Eva, leaving only Anderson and Clark still with him. I maintained limited contact, although truth be told, we were just keeping tabs on one another. The reason was always you. After you returned to the Army and created Foxhound, you left America. For a time, even I'd lost track of you. I'd imagine Zero did too. You always were the best when it came to hide and seek. Zero created Cipher, an information network to tap into every corner of the globe. Woven together, Cipher's arteries make the world just one big organism. And that's not all. It also monitors the thorn in Zero's side. That's you, tracking your coordinates wherever you might go. The further you strayed from your roots, the larger Zero became. To as if he was trying to close the gap between you. But before long, he disappeared from public life.
Those are raw diamonds. Collecting them as assets will raise our GMP.
For a time, I was one of them. Then a year after you fell into your coma, he slipped out of sight entirely. Since then, nothing. No photos, no recordings, not even a reliable rumor as to his whereabouts. I tried every method I could think of, but Zero was gone. Freed of his control, his creation, his power continued to grow. Cypher is a great beast, and Zero was its spine. But even without him, it's endured, evolved. But now its body is rotting, riddled with parasites. Parasites like the ones who attacked you 9 years ago in the Caribbean, and then at the hospital. Cypher's Black Ops Unit, XOF. They learned where you were, and came to wipe the slate clean.
Ya. ¿Qué más casos tenemos? Sure.
Christmas Eve, 1979. The Soviet Union rolled into Afghanistan. Muslims had revolted against the Soviet-friendly regime established the year before. The DRA forces could no longer contain it themselves, so the Soviets went in to intervene. The Afghan government was powerless and fraught with infighting. They lost the hearts and minds of the people, and that alarmed the Soviet leadership. With the Islamic Revolution happening in Iran, the Soviets felt they had to act fast or risk the spread of Islamic revivalism. A superpower, sending a motorized rifle division against men on horseback with antique rifles. Everyone thought it'd be over in an instant, only it wasn't. Some Muslims made their fight a jihad, a holy war, and began a guerrilla campaign on all fronts. A war of attrition. These fighters call themselves Mujahideen. They're being supported by the West through Pakistan. That's why Miller was involved. He was training them near the Zero Line, sponsored by the CIA. The war has become a nightmare for the Soviet troops stationed here. They thought they'd be headed home in 6 months at the most. Then a year passed. 2 years. Now here we are 4 years on with no exit in sight. Afghanistan has become the Soviet Union's Vietnam. The Soviet troops on the ground want to go home, but at least they have homes to go back to. The Afghans have lost theirs. The Soviets destroy the kishlaks, villages, wherever they can. They burn down homes and fields, fill in wells, turn pastures into minefields. It's created a mass of refugees who fled to Pakistan. If the Mujahideen are fish swimming around the villages, the Soviets will go so far as to dry out their ocean. But this has had a big price. There's bitter resentment among the Afghans, and they're taking the soldiers on the front
Necesito
lines.
mejorar el Fulton, weón.
Among the Mujahideen are the Pashtun people. They're fiercely devoted to their code of Badal, or revenge. Soviets they've captured have had their hands, feet, and noses cut off before being left to die at the side of the road, just to show their comrades what they're capable of. Friendlies who come across them can do nothing but put them out of their misery. Then they burn down another
Bueno, ya, pero no vamos a ir para allá nosotros, así que...
Snake, I wanted to ask you about the man on fire. What do you remember from the hospital? Anything we can use?
Well, he took off the moment the sprinklers started up.
Sprinklers? The fire system?
And when he got sprayed with water from the burst pipe, it slowed him down.
When we escaped on horseback, he wouldn't cross the river either.
And then it started to rain. And he disappeared.
Water against fire. Is it that simple? I mean, it makes sense. It's just hard to believe it would work on a guy like that.
No, tirarlo acá para que uno se dé vuelta, uno coopera. Fuck me.
Suppressor is worn out. That gun will be as loud as any other now. If you have to shoot, be careful.
Fuck me. Sí, sí, aquí está.
That's the target. Looks like we found him.
Процесс. Я его сделал. Это мой шедевр.
So when sandstorms come in, sandstorms effectively make you blind and deaf. That goes for the enemy too.
No, pues weón. No, es que no tengo arco. Fuck. No, okay. Esto no es serio, así que no debería haber problema. Ya. No entienden una hueá, po. Ya.
LK8, понял. Смотрите в оба. Конец связи. Target extraction confirmed. Your objective's complete. Exfiltrate out of the hot zone by chopper or on land.
Vamos a virar la pata.
Alright, you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit.
Ya.
Mission complete.
Estamos. Y ella.
Arrived at Mother Base. Development project has been added.
Fuck, y el Fulton.
Yes, mission complete. Boss, that was exceptional.
Alertas de combate enemiga. Pero nadie me pilló, weón. Ataque recibido. ¿Quién, weón? Meh.
The engineer we rescued has been extremely cooperative. The guys on the R&D team are glad to have him aboard. Thing is, his specialty isn't mechanics, but something called bionics, engineering based on biology. He's already submitted a proposal for modifying your prosthetic arm. If you're interested, go ahead and give the development order. How you feeling, boss? Getting used to being in the field again? Having choppers and a horse at your disposal is indispensable for operating in the wilds of Afghanistan. I've gone ahead and arranged for you to be able to develop and customize weaponry for support choppers. And you can also develop new equipment for D-Horse if you like. Use your iDroid to start development as needed. Remember the
¡Coyumbo!
base in Cuba 9 years ago?
Aquí me lo
Or
agrego.
not, some of them survived that hell we went through. Word reached them that Big Boss is back and they wanted in. They're good men, our brothers in fate. They'll be glad to know you've seen them here.
¡Coyumbo! Cassette.
Cos, what about the unit that attacked us in the mist? You knew something about them.
That wasn't my first run-in with them. It happened right before I was captured by the Soviets. We were on the zero line that day. The Afghan side. On our way back from training the Mujahideen at a mountain camp in Kunar province. There's a lot of that work in Afghanistan. Most PFs shy away from it because it draws too much attention. But for us, that was the whole point. The job itself went great. We just had to make it back to a tribal area in Pakistan. But all of a sudden, visibility got real bad. It was no sandstorm. Our point man gave the strange report. He said he could see skulls in the mist. Skulls? The next moment, he went silent. We scrambled into formation, right before his arms and legs came raining down on us. It was always supposed to be a dangerous mission, so I had Diamond Dog's very best with me. We were calling out to each other. One by one, their voices just went dead. Whatever happened to me, I lost consciousness before I knew it. When I came to, I was in a Soviet camp, tied to an interrogation chair.
Could they be some new Spetsnaz unit?
No. The ones that interrogated me were just the average rank and file. Whatever group attacked us, the way they moved was just insane. And that mist, appearing out of nowhere. The Soviets don't have tech like that.
If they did, Ocelot would have heard about it.
I doubt the West does either. Otherwise, the folks at Langley would be sleeping a lot easier.
Why'd they come after you?
Wish I knew. I'm the only one who survived. So I don't think they planned it that way.
¡Corre, basura!
They wouldn't have just handed me over to the 40th Army. Whatever the case, we need to watch our step until we know who they really are. And boss, if you ever do run into them again, don't try to take them on. You just get the hell out of there.
Say, boss, you see many animals in the field. The truth is, an environmental NGO has asked us to remove wild animals from combat zones. If you have the time, can you extract some back here? There's a reward in it for us.
So they wanted us. They wanted our strength. They approached me as a potential business partner.
But they had other motives.
Cypher coaxed us into Central America, into that US-Soviet proxy war, to fuel Mother Base's growth. Once we were big enough, they'd force us to join them. That was the plan.
That's why they had Paz, still Zeke.
Right. And if we refused, she would use Zeke to fire a nuke from Mother Base. The world would consider us a liability, and countries would unite to destroy us.
We stopped the launch.
And yet they still took us down. Through that fake inspection they orchestrated to cover up their sabotage. That power Cypher wanted. We don't have it anymore. So why are they still after you? Is it just the fear of leaving you alive?
I don't know. Was Zero really... All I know is the man I knew wouldn't want this.
What do you mean?
We have to consider that it might not be Zero we're dealing with.
We know virtually nothing about Cypher anymore. How big they've gotten, what they want, or even who they really are. The new Mother Base started out as a test drilling rig operated by a mineral resources supplier, but their project fell through. The Seychelles government was happy to hand the place over to us. It was just scrap on stilts. So with a few dummy construction companies set up as fronts, we started renovating the half-finished rig. From the outside, it looked like the project was back on rails.
Kaz, you...
What?
I see what you're doing. Recreating the Mother Base we had 9 years ago. Only this time.
That's right. The Mother Base Cypher thought they destroyed will return from the grave to kill them. We'll prove to the world that we were the victors.
And if we lose again?
They can't fool us the same way twice. Now our enemies are in plain sight. And when our organization gets too big, we split it across companies. Any company that draws attention gets liquidated, and its capital is back-channeled into a new company. Most PFs are small-time operations anyway. And in this business, the minnows go bankrupt all the time. We've never aroused suspicion. Plus, we have Hewick.
Hewick?
Human Exploitation Company. It's a business specializing in intel gathering. Think of it as a civilian intelligence agency.
Kaz, that's...
Remember what they were trying to accomplish at the prison facility in Cuba? That gave me the idea. We dispatch moles into conflict zones around the world, and each sets up an intel network on site. Then they stay in place to give us stable points of contact when other nations intervene in the conflicts. Hewick's strength is that it has a cutout at each level. You get your job from one guy, then you hand it off to another. No one has direct access. It's a perfect black box. Hewick members also work their way into the superpowers intelligence agencies to make sure Diamond Dogs gets work. We have those countries by the balls. That's our deterrent when we need it.
Networking? In the intelligence community?
Sure, that's how we've grown this far. And when you go out on missions, intel from Hewick will be there to back you up. But despite all that, Cypher has its eyes on us. The only reason I'm not dead is that they needed to know where you were. Figured if you woke up, I'd go straight to you.
D-Doc.
That's why you made that ruckus at the zero line.
¿Verdad? Pues acá está. Está aquí en el árbol.
Work against them. I think it took some of the heat
¿Dónde
off
estáis,
Cyprus.
perroski?
Cause
Then I just had to wait for you to save me. And I've gotten used to waiting.
that wild dog pop. He's a tough little guy.
Está,
This is no time to be playing with animals. What are you gonna do, boss?
Their agencies are bursting at the
en el
seams.
primero,
Boss,
no necesito que te calles para escuchar dónde está. Derecha. Ahí está. Está terrible escondido, cabro. Buena, cabro. Perroski.
let's start by building up our Afghan presence.
Why put Mother Base in the Seychelles?
We're at the center of the world here.
We're all the way out in the Indian Ocean.
Come on. Lebanon, Sri Lanka, East Timor, and Africa. From here
We
on,
found out there's an English-speaking soldier somewhere in the region. He's a language specialist. His role is to translate information related to the West into Russian. If we can get him to join us, we'll have the upper hand in information warfare. Find this language specialist and extract him.
the Seychelles government owes us a favor.
Owes us.
The Seychelles has strong ties to the East, which the West wanted to shake up. It came to a head 3 years ago in an attempted coup. It was a force of South African mercenaries with U.S. backing behind the scenes. They were only platoon size, but South Africa is home to some heavy PFs. Too much for the Seychelles to handle. In the end, they accepted help from the Tanzanian army and quelled the coup. We set up the deal and handled on-site tactical instruction. That led to some training work for the Seychelles military. And when we put down a mutiny within their forces, well, we made a lot of people happy. They don't pay us. They just let us have a piece of their offshore territory on the promise we'll come running if something else happens.
So we're bodyguards, too. He speaks Russian. What we need is an interpreter.
Far here.
The main principle of intelligence work is intel gathering. But that's a problem if you don't speak the enemy's language. We need a staff member with the interpreter skill to do a simultaneous interpretation. So, Kaz, the ship that took us from Cyprus, it used to be a whaler.
Yeah, a Japanese vessel. How was the voyage?
It was stimulating.
Well, she was part of a whaling fleet up until a few years ago. Her displacement isn't anything to write home about, but she can really move. She still had plenty of life left in her, but then the work dried up. Global opposition to whaling has been mounting for years.
Is that right?
The push to ban it has been gaining traction for a little over a decade. Individual species came under protection as the years went on. And then 2 years ago, the IWC adopted a moratorium on commercial whaling. Several countries, including Japan, fought it to the bitter end. But eventually, most whaling companies had no choice but to throw in the towel. You ever tried whale snake?
That's the target.
When I was a kid in Japan, practically everybody ate it.
That good, huh?
The country was poor in those days, and whale was cheap. International opinions changed since then. In any case, that's why we were able to get a bargain price on the ship. Of course, we did end up spending 5 times the purchase price in modifications. We had to really work to fit in all the ESM and communications gear while keeping the whaler look intact. Right now she's going around conducting SIGINT missions. In the future, we plan to use her as a communications relay base between you and Mother Base, and also as a chopper resupply vessel. Diamond dogs. The word diamond originally comes from the Greek adamas. It means indomitable, unyielding. Other words for the stones often mean eternal bond, fortitude, or purity. The same is true of the Star of Bethlehem flowers you laid on the boss's grave. They represent innocence, as well as chastity, yielding to no man while maintaining one's virtue. In other words, staying loyal to something. We were lucky to get our hands on that cyborg arm developer. There's no one in Diamond Dogs who can so much as maintain that thing.
bionic arm, not cyborg, if you go by what he calls it. But you're right, the East is light years ahead in bionics. They can even detect through the skin the slight electrical signals from the brain that order muscles to move. The Soviet Union completed their first bionic arm capable of doing that back
Boss, that language specialist you extracted has been very cooperative. Says he's always dreamed of living a free life like folks in the West. What are the odds, huh? I've gone ahead and placed him in the support unit. His job is Russian interpretation. Now you'll know what Soviet soldiers are saying. You can even interrogate them. Should give you an edge in the mission.
Right now, I need to keep the pain fresh in my mind.
Well, it's your decision. But don't you find it inconvenient?
Not a bit. But the phantom pain, it never lets up. Do you know how many men I saw die that day? There's nothing we can do to bring them back. And you expect me to care about getting a measly arm and leg back? Sorry. But my pain belongs to all our dead comrades. I'll keep living with it for their sake. It'll guide me straight and true until I've gotten them the vengeance they deserve.
Ahora sabe. Oye, no, pues, weón. Por la cresta no me puede llevar, weón. Ya. Eso no salió bien.
For a long time in the field is bad for the body and mind. I
Fuck.
think it's time you took a break. Do it for me.
Tell me a shit about you, bro.
ASAP.
Ok. Estos son de los tipos de cosas que no quería que nos perdiéramos, así que... Dice bueno, ¿ah? Además tenemos Perroski, así que... Porque sacamos a Didi, así que... Vamos a verlo ahí, chiquitito, weón. Ay, Cheto, madre, los Fulton, weón, los Fulton me cagaron los Fulton. Didi. Yes.
Didi, come back!
Yeah, boy.
Mitch,
Here's the dog you brought back. Bit of a troublemaker. Not sure about the breed, though.
he'll get bigger.
Uh-huh. Like this. You know, I can look after him. He's still a pup, so he doesn't listen. I have a feeling someday he'll be useful. I suspect you discovered a real diamond in the rough. With a little polish, I'd say we got a true diamond dog on our hands.
Jaja, no lo tengo porque estoy jugando un track diferente, basura. Yeah. Sorry, tenía que hacerlo.
Hostile raising hounds.
Es que no podí, con esa voz no podí. No podí no hacerlo.
Come on, Didi.
That's so fucking stupid. Ok. Yo me voy a poner aquí a jugar un poco el desarrollo. Así que nos vemos, cabros, en la próxima parte de Metal Gear 5 The Phantom Pain. Nos vemos, cabros. Chas.